the huge areas of the world that have never been looked at by archaeology at all. Of course, the most important are the flooded continental shelves. Santha and I spent 7 years of our lives scuba diving all around the world. You're coming across statues underwater, you're coming across columns underwater. It's just magical, diving on an underwater city.
Beneath the waves of Egypt's Abu Qir Bay lies a mystery that has baffled archaeologists for decades. Lost cities, submerged beneath the sea, their secrets hidden in the depths.
You have to be careful when you look at underwater structures. You have to look at all the conditions that have led to their submergence.
How did the once thriving city of Menuthis vanish beneath the waves? Join us as we dive into this underwater mystery, exploring the theories behind its sudden disappearance and uncovering the treasures that lie hidden beneath the surface.
I want to know what else is going to be found that hasn't been investigated yet at all. We're just touching the edge of a huge mystery.
The submerged city of Menuthis, nestled near Abu Qir Bay, close to Canopus and Alexandria, has emerged as a cornerstone of underwater archaeology, revealing the intricate cultural and religious tapestry of the Greco-Egyptian era. Discovered by Frank Gordillo and his team, this exploration shed light on the daily life and significance of Menuthis before it was engulfed by the Mediterranean. Frank Gordillo, a pioneer in underwater archaeology, led his team through methodical survey processes using state-of-the-art sonar and geomagnetic equipment. This technology was crucial in detecting anomalies that hinted at submerged structures and formed the backbone of their exploratory efforts. The initial phase of exploration involved detailed surveys using side-scan sonar and magnetometers, which provided the first glimpse of Menuthis beneath the silt.
The Nile carries a lot of silt with it, a lot of earth with it, as it flows out of Uganda and out of Ethiopia.
These surveys revealed the outlines of buried structures and were instrumental in mapping potential excavation sites. To further enhance their understanding of the underwater terrain and the depth of sediment layers, the team employed advanced remote sensing technologies, including multi-beam echo sounders and sub-bottom profilers. These tools helped create a three-dimensional map of the seabed, which was pivotal for planning the excavation process. However, the team faced significant challenges due to the dynamic conditions of the underwater environment near Abu Qir Bay. The heavy accumulation of silt, typical in the Nile Delta region, not only buried artifacts and structures but also reduced underwater visibility, complicating both excavation and documentation processes. The shifting currents and tides could expose or rebury artifacts between survey sessions, requiring the team to continuously monitor conditions and respond quickly to windows of opportunity. Additionally, the saline environment and the presence of silt presented major preservation challenges, necessitating immediate conservation efforts to prevent corrosion and biological growth on the artifacts once they were brought to the surface. To mitigate these challenges, the team employed divers specialized in underwater archaeology who used hydraulic suction tubes to delicately remove silt and uncover artifacts. This technique minimized damage to the delicate items. Documentation was another critical aspect of the excavation, with high-resolution photography and videography playing key roles. In many instances, 3D modeling techniques were utilized to capture the exact condition and position of structures and artifacts before they were disturbed. Once artifacts were recovered, they were immediately placed in specially designed conservation containers filled with a stabilizing solution to prevent further decay from exposure to air, ensuring the preservation of these invaluable historical items. Continuing the exploration of Menuthis, the archaeological discoveries have indeed provided a vivid picture of the city's architectural prowess, daily and ceremonial life, and even the geological reasons behind its submersion.
The submergence of those sites is largely because of subsidence of land rather than sea level rise, because it's relatively recent.
The structural remains unearthed in Menuthis point to its significant buildings, which were likely central to both the city's daily and communal activities. These buildings were constructed using large limestone blocks. The sophisticated engineering techniques needed to quarry, shape, and transport these massive blocks hint at the advanced architectural knowledge and structural integrity of that era. It's likely that levers, ramps, and possibly wooden rollers were used in their placement, techniques that mirror other Egyptian constructions from the same period. The range of ceramics discovered provides further insights into the lifestyle in Menuthis. From simple domestic wares to intricately designed ceremonial pieces, the ceramics display a blend of Egyptian and Greek styles, reflecting the cultural fusion during the Ptolemaic period. These items, varying from everyday storage and cooking uses to those in religious rituals or as luxury household items, offer a glimpse into the daily and ceremonial lives of its inhabitants.
Ancient cultures all around the world preserved a memory of a high civilization.
Statuary found at the site also speaks volumes about the cultural and religious life in Menuthis. Crafted from durable materials like granite and marble, these statues, often over 2 meters tall and weighing more than 500 kilograms, depicted deities and significant figures, suggesting their role in reinforcing a sense of divine presence or royal authority within public spaces or temples. Regarding why Menuthis ended up underwater, one compelling theory involves geological and climatic changes. The city was built on the geologically unstable Nile Delta, prone to subsidence, a gradual sinking of the land.
All that silt is then dumped in the Nile Delta, and constructions were made on top of it.
This subsidence, possibly exacerbated by the weight of the city's structures and the delta's soft sedimentary soil, combined with sea level changes from climatic shifts or seismic events, might have led to the gradual inundation of Menuthis over the centuries. Menuthis, though not as expansive as Alexandria, was intricately laid out to support its population and their activities, suggesting it covered several square kilometers. With a network of streets, marketplaces, and residential areas, and its location along the coast, it likely also served as a minor port or trading post, facilitating trade between the Nile interior and the Mediterranean. This urban layout not only supported its role in commerce, but also its cultural and social structure, making it a bustling hub of activity in ancient times. Just as the city of Menuthis provided deep insights into ancient Greco-Egyptian culture, so too does the rediscovery of Canopus, located near the modern village of Abukir and close to the ancient city of Thonis-Heracleion. Canopus, brought back to light by Frank Gaudio and his team, showcases the religious and architectural richness of ancient Egypt. Frank Gaudio's exploratory campaign revealed Canopus through advanced underwater archaeology techniques. Utilizing sophisticated sonar technology, magnetometers, and sub-bottom profilers, Gaudio's team successfully identified significant anomalies that matched the expected locations of architectural structures under the seabed. The initial surveys disclosed the outlines of temple complexes and other significant constructions, indicating the potential scale and importance of Canopus, which had been hidden beneath layers of sediment and marine growth. Among the most striking findings in Canopus were the expansive temple complexes and sanctuaries dedicated to Egyptian gods, particularly Osiris. The main temple structures were quite large, with some remains suggesting dimensions of over 50 meters in length and more than 20 meters wide. These vast areas were clearly designed to accommodate large numbers of pilgrims, highlighting their importance as major religious centers. The construction materials of these temples were primarily limestone and granite, with giant blocks weighing up to 10 tons each. These materials were not only selected for their durability, but also for their aesthetic qualities, vital for such culturally and religiously significant structures. Moreover, the temples featured intricate carvings and hieroglyphics that were both decorative and narrative, telling the stories and rituals associated with the deities worshipped within. The sanctuaries also yielded a wide array of artifacts that paint a vivid picture of the religious practices and daily life surrounding these structures. Numerous statues, mainly crafted from granite and basalt, have been recovered. These statues, which vary in size with some standing several meters tall and weighing hundreds of kilograms, often depict gods and goddesses and were intended as focal points of worship. Additionally, ritual objects such as ceremonial cups, incense burners, and offerings tables were found, crafted from materials like alabaster and bronze, which signify their sacred uses and the affluence of the temple complexes. Canopus was not only a significant site for the worship of Osiris, but also played a central role during the Mysteries of Osiris, an annual festival that drew devotees from across the region. This underscores the religious importance of the city. The art and architecture of Canopus reflect a blend of Greek and Egyptian influences, typical of the Hellenistic period in Egypt, evident in the hybrid designs of the temples and the iconography of the statuary. The reason Canopus found itself submerged is largely attributed to geological processes such as subsidence and rising sea levels over the millennia. Built on the unstable sediments of the Nile Delta, the city was vulnerable to the shifting landmasses and the slow encroachment of the Mediterranean Sea, processes that gradually led to its submersion and preserved its relics beneath the sea. The ancient underwater city of Alexandria, located at the mouth of the Nile River in Egypt, is a treasure trove of archaeological wonders and historical insights. Founded by Alexander the Great in 331 BCE, it quickly rose to become the cultural and economic hub of the ancient world. However, parts of this legendary city succumbed to the sea due to earthquakes and tsunamis over centuries. Diving into the depths of the Mediterranean, Frank Goddio and his team's exploration of Alexandria's underwater ruins stands as a testament to human curiosity and technological prowess. The discovery of this ancient city submerged beneath the sea intertwines the grand narratives of history, technology, and myth, offering a window into one of antiquity's greatest civilizations. The use of state-of-the-art technology, including submersible robots and sophisticated sonar mapping, marks a significant evolution in underwater archaeology, reminiscent of the groundbreaking exploration of the Titanic wreck. Yet, while the Titanic's discovery opened the deep sea to archaeologists, Goddio's project breathed life back into ancient urban landscapes, showcasing the advancements in archaeological methods. The preservation of artifacts and structures found underwater presents unique challenges, starkly contrasting with those encountered in the preservation of the Dead Sea Scrolls. The saltwater environment of Alexandria erodes materials over time, demanding innovative solutions for conservation, highlighting the diverse challenges archaeologists face based on the context of their discoveries. The uncovering of the royal quarters and temples in Alexandria offers unparalleled insights into the Ptolemaic dynasty's architectural and cultural grandeur, drawing comparisons to the discovery of Pompeii. However, Alexandria reveals its secrets from beneath the waves, providing a unique lens through which to view ancient urban planning and religious practices. When compared to other ancient submerged cities like Baiae or Pavlopetri, Alexandria's ruins underscore the city's cosmopolitan nature, standing as a testament to its role as a center of commerce, culture, and knowledge. Alexandria's position as a cultural and economic hub in the ancient world is further emphasized by the diversity of artifacts found, echoing the melting pot of cultures found in Silk Road cities like Samarkand. The discovery of remnants believed to be part of the Pharos Lighthouse, one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world, underscores Alexandria's advanced engineering and pivotal role in ancient navigation, much like the Great Wall of China's significance in its own civilization. The successful exploration of Alexandria's underwater ruins not only advances our understanding of ancient civilizations, but also inspires further technological innovation in underwater archaeology. This quest to uncover the past mirrors how the space race propelled aerospace technology, demonstrating the impact of historical exploration on modern advancement. Moreover, the cultural resonance of these discoveries, akin to the fascination sparked by the discovery of King Tutankhamun's tomb, highlights the enduring allure of Egypt's ancient civilizations. Exhibitions of artifacts from Alexandria's underwater ruins have captured the global public imagination. Delving into the depths of the Mediterranean, the underwater excavations of Alexandria have unveiled treasures that paint a vivid picture of a city steeped in glory and history. Among the ruins and relics, a myriad of statues, sphinxes, and architectural marvels whisper tales of ancient Alexandria's cultural and artistic zenith. One of the most breathtaking discoveries is a giant statue believed to depict Ptolemy II, an emblem of the fusion between Hellenistic and Egyptian influences that characterize the Ptolemaic dynasty. Crafted from red granite, this colossal figure stands as a bridge between 2 worlds, reminiscent of the grand colossi of Memnon in Luxor, Egypt, and underscoring the tradition of monumental sculpture that flourished in ancient Egyptian culture. The seabed also revealed sphinxes and statues of Egyptian gods and goddesses. These findings not only highlight the Ptolemies' efforts to weave together their Greek heritage with the rich tapestry of Egyptian religious symbolism. The sphinxes, majestic with their lion bodies and human heads, serve as symbols of the ruler's wisdom and power, reflecting the broader narrative of Greek and Egyptian cultural intermingling. Furthermore, the recovery of architectural fragments from Alexandria's waters provides a window into the city's architectural prowess and urban planning. Columns, capitals, and friezes bear witness to a city where Egyptian, Greek, and Roman influences converged, creating a unique aesthetic that mirrored Alexandria's identity as a melting pot of civilizations. This aspect of the discoveries draws parallels with the archaeological finds in ancient Rome, where a similar amalgamation of architectural styles speaks to a rich, interconnected Mediterranean world. The excavation also brought to light an assortment of pottery and jewelry, offering glimpses into the daily lives, trade, and artistic expressions of Alexandria's denizens. The variety of pottery, from utilitarian domestic vessels to elaborately decorated ceremonial pieces, suggests a society of complex social strata and diverse needs. Meanwhile, the jewelry, gold earrings, necklaces, and rings, often embellished with precious stones, underscores Alexandria's affluence and its pivotal role in the trade networks that crisscrossed the Mediterranean. These artifacts not only revealed the city's artistic flair, but also its connections to a wider world. Through these discoveries, the underwater ruins of Alexandria continue to fascinate and enlighten, offering a mosaic of insights into one of antiquity's most magnificent cities. When divers stumbled upon a shipwreck near the Greek island of Antikythera in 1901, little did they know they were about to uncover one of the most astonishing artifacts of the ancient world, the Antikythera mechanism. Often hailed as the world's first analog computer, this device, dating back to around 100 BCE, is a marvel of ancient engineering and scientific knowledge. With its intricate system of over 30 bronze gears housed in a wooden frame, the mechanism was designed to predict lunar and solar eclipses, track the cycles of the Olympic Games, and model the moon's complex orbit, showcasing a level of technological sophistication that seems centuries ahead of its time. But what's truly fascinating about the Antikythera mechanism isn't just its complexity and precision. It also served as an astronomical and calendar device, capable of calculating the positions of the sun, moon, and perhaps even the planets. It featured dials for the zodiac and solar calendar, embedding celestial phenomena within the fabric of timekeeping in ancient Greek society. Inscriptions on the device acted as a user guide, revealing a profound understanding of astronomy and mathematics among its creators and users. While the origins of this extraordinary artifact remain speculative, many believe its connection to Alexandria isn't far-fetched. Known as the intellectual beacon of the Hellenistic world, Alexandria was home to the legendary library and the museum, a research institution that attracted scholars like Euclid, Hero, and Archimedes. Their contributions to mathematics, physics, and engineering could very well have influenced the creation of the Antikythera mechanism, suggesting it may have originated from this vibrant scientific community. In fact, some scholars posit that the principles behind the mechanism could have been inspired by Archimedes himself, although he lived earlier than the device's estimated creation date. The discovery of the Antikythera mechanism in a shipwreck hints at the extensive trade networks and cultural exchanges of the time, linking Alexandria with other Greek locales, including Antikythera. Such connections likely facilitated the spread of technological and scientific knowledge across the Mediterranean. The legacy of the Antikythera mechanism extends far beyond its historical and archaeological significance. It stands as a testament to the technological achievements of the ancient Greeks, challenging our perceptions of ancient technology and highlighting their sophisticated understanding of mechanical devices. Modern scientists and engineers have drawn inspiration from this ancient marvel, leading to new discoveries about ancient science and technology, and even the development of replicas using ancient techniques. Ongoing research, employing advanced imaging techniques, continues to unveil the secrets of the Antikythera mechanism, offering insights not just into the device itself, but also into the scientific and cultural milieu of the Hellenistic period. Through the lens of this remarkable artifact, we gain a deeper appreciation for the ingenuity of the ancient world, particularly the pivotal role played by Alexandria in fostering a legacy of innovation and knowledge that continues to inspire to this day.
Santha and I spent 7 years of our lives scuba diving all around the world. You're coming across statues underwater, you're coming across columns underwater. It's just magical, diving on an underwater city.
For centuries, the lost city of Heracleion, or Thonis as it was known to the ancient Egyptians, was thought to be nothing more than a legend, hidden beneath the waves near the mouth of the Nile River, off the modern-day coast of Alexandria, Egypt. It was a city whispered about in a few rare inscriptions and ancient texts, until its discovery in the early 2000s.
You have to be careful when you look at underwater structures. You have to look at all the conditions that have led to their submergence.
Underwater archaeologist Frank Goddio and his team unveiled this submerged city, transforming it from myth to reality in a groundbreaking moment for archaeology. Heracleion was not just any city, it was a vital gateway to Egypt, a primary port for Greek trade before Alexandria took prominence. This bustling hub was alive with commerce, culture, and religion, serving as a significant center for the worship of the god Amun-Gareb.
The submergence of those sites is largely because of subsidence of land rather than sea level rise, because it's relatively recent.
Among its most revered ceremonies was the annual Mysteries of Osiris, celebrating the resurrection of Osiris.
But over here we have the god Osiris from Egypt, remembered by the ancient Egyptians as a bringer of the gifts of civilization, not only in Egypt, but in many other lands as well.
The artifacts and inscriptions recovered from beneath the waters tell tales of this grand city. Located about 6.5 kilometers off the coast, submerged under 30 to 45 feet of water, the ruins of Heracleion have yielded an astonishing array of artifacts. Giant statues towering over 5 meters high, beautifully carved and remarkably preserved in the silty seabed, depict Egyptian gods and goddesses alongside pharaohs and Greek rulers, a testament to the cultural melting pot that was Heracleion.
They came to Egypt and established religion by building primeval mounds up and down the Nile Valley.
Alongside these, gold coins and bronze and stone weights unearthed from the site offer glimpses into the trade networks and economic systems that underpinned the city's prosperity. Adding to the intrigue, archaeologists found dozens of small limestone sarcophagi, likely used for mummified animals brought as offerings, and the remains of over 64 ancient shipwrecks. These discoveries weave a narrative of a city where commerce and devotion to the gods were deeply entwined, a place of profound spiritual significance. Drawing parallels between Heracleion and the ancient city of Pompeii in Italy presents an interesting perspective on how natural disasters can both destroy and preserve. While Pompeii was buried in volcanic ash, Heracleion succumbed to rising waters and earthquakes. Yet both cities lay forgotten for centuries, their rediscoveries providing snapshots of ancient life. Pompeii offers a view of Roman life captured in ash, whereas Heracleion's story is told through artifacts preserved under the sea, offering unique insights into ancient Egyptian civilization. The ongoing exploration of Heracleion challenges our understanding of ancient history, shedding light on the interconnectedness of ancient civilizations. The city's artifacts and structures, now emerging from the depths, serve as a potent reminder of the fleeting nature of human achievements and the intricate tapestry of human history. Now moving on to another discovery. The submerged ruins of Cleopatra's palace offer a fascinating window into the past. This palace, once a bustling centre of political and cultural activity, was home to Cleopatra VII, the last pharaoh of Egypt, known for her intelligence, political acumen, and captivating presence. The discovery of its ruins has thrilled historians and archaeologists, providing unprecedented insights into Cleopatra's era, a time marked by immense political power, cultural achievements, and architectural splendour. The underwater excavations at this site have been nothing short of a treasure trove, unearthing a wealth of artifacts that tell the story of life in ancient Alexandria. Among the haul are magnificent statues that might have once graced the palace and its surroundings, depicting Egyptian gods, Ptolemaic rulers, and possibly Cleopatra herself. These finds offer clues to the artistic and religious milieu of the period. The submerged structures, thought to include the palace's living quarters and ceremonial areas, and possibly even the fabled Pharos lighthouse, give us a glimpse into the architectural and urban planning styles of the time. Moreover, Everyday items such as pottery, glassware, coins, and personal ornaments have been found, painting a vivid picture of both the domestic life within the palace and the bustling economic life of Alexandria. Cleopatra's Alexandria was a cosmopolitan beacon of trade, culture, and learning, hosting the Great Library and attracting scholars from across the ancient world. Cleopatra's reign represented the peak of Alexandria's development as a hub of Hellenistic culture, merging Egyptian traditions with those of Greece and Rome. The underwater discovery of the palace highlights Alexandria's significance in the ancient Mediterranean world. Drawing parallels with the sunken Roman city of Baiae in the Bay of Naples, both Cleopatra's palace and Baiae were epitomes of luxury and political clout of their times, reflecting the architectural tastes and wealth of their civilizations. While Baiae reveals much about Roman elite leisure and architectural innovation, the underwater ruins of Cleopatra's palace open a portal to the end of the Egyptian pharaoh's era, and the attempts by the Ptolemaic dynasty to synthesize Egyptian and Hellenistic cultures. The exploration of Cleopatra's palace continues to enrich our understanding of ancient Alexandria's pivotal role in the Mediterranean. It also offers a deeper look into the life and times of one of history's most enigmatic figures, Cleopatra VII, and the lavish lifestyle she led. The ruins serve as a poignant reminder of Alexandria's former glory and the fleeting nature of human achievements, standing as a testament to the transformative power of nature over history. Founded by Alexander the Great in 331 BC, the port of Alexandria quickly ascended to become one of the ancient world's most crucial trade hubs, buzzing with the exchange of goods, ideas, and cultures. Its prime location on the Mediterranean coast of Egypt established it as a pivotal connector of trade routes from Europe, Asia, and Africa, transforming it into a melting pot of global significance. The strategic and economic importance of the port was unparalleled, primarily serving as the vital conduit for Egypt's grain shipments to Rome, which was essential for the empire's stability. Among the marvels that made Alexandria famous was the Pharos Lighthouse, one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world. Positioned on the island of Pharos, this engineering masterpiece not only guided ships safely into the harbour with its formidable light, but also symbolised the city's affluence and ingenuity. Although not directly linked to the port, the Great Library of Alexandria was another testament to the city's intellectual and cultural richness, drawing scholars and thinkers from across the globe. The royal quarters and palaces of Alexandria, including the Museion, home to the famed library, reflected the city's role as a beacon of Hellenistic culture and power. Meanwhile, underwater archaeology in the port area has unveiled a trove of artifacts, from ancient shipwrecks to everyday items, shedding light on the maritime practices of the time and the diversity of goods that flowed through Alexandria. The port was a linchpin in the ancient economy, bustling with the trade of grain, papyrus, glass, and precious metals, among other commodities. Its docks and warehouses were a hive of activity, indicative of a well-organized network that made Alexandria a cultural and economic bridge between various civilizations. The discovery of diverse ship remains and goods in Alexandria highlights its wider reach in the ancient trade world. The legacy of the port of Alexandria is monumental, influencing maritime trade, architecture, and culture well beyond its heyday. Ongoing archaeological work in the port area continues to enrich our understanding of the interactions, economies, and daily life of ancient civilizations. Its history serves as a powerful reminder of humanity's interconnectedness through time.
Said to be buried together for thousands of years, the mystery of the lost tomb of Cleopatra and Mark Antony has remained a mystery. Perhaps that is, until today. This never-before-seen tunnel has been something regarded as an engineering miracle. And while that whole thing is huge, how does all of this happen in the first place?
The discovery of Cleopatra's tomb is undeniably one of the most thrilling and mysterious achievements in archaeology. Cleopatra VII, the final ruler of the Ptolemaic Kingdom of Egypt, has fascinated people for centuries with her intelligence, political shrewdness, and her famous romances with Roman leaders Julius Caesar and Mark Antony. For ages, the location of her final resting place remained one of history's most elusive mysteries. The breakthrough in the search for Cleopatra's tomb emerged in the early 21st century. This incredible discovery was driven by Dr. Zahi Hawass, Egypt's former Minister of Antiquities, and Kathleen Martinez, a Dominican lawyer turned self-taught archaeologist with a deep passion for Cleopatra. Martinez, fueled by her admiration for Cleopatra and her extensive research of ancient texts, posited that Cleopatra and Mark Antony were buried in the temple of Taposiris Magna, near the ancient city of Alexandria. Martinez's theory was rooted in a detailed analysis of historical accounts by Plutarch and Cassius Dio, suggesting Cleopatra might have been buried in a temple dedicated to the goddess Isis. This idea contrasted with the prevailing belief that Cleopatra was interred within Alexandria itself. In 2005, Martinez obtained permission from the Egyptian authorities to commence excavations at Taposiris Magna. The excavation at Taposiris Magna was challenging. The site, located on the edge of the Libyan desert, posed significant difficulties due to its unstable structures and the complex layers of archaeological deposits. Over several years, the team uncovered notable artifacts, including coins with Cleopatra's likeness, statues, and inscriptions, all supporting the hypothesis that the site was connected to Cleopatra. A particularly intriguing aspect of this discovery was the mysterious and seemingly serendipitous nature of many findings. Key discoveries often coincided with unusual weather events like sudden sandstorms and unexpected rains, almost as if guiding the archaeologists to crucial areas. Some team members reported vivid dreams and visions of ancient rituals, which they interpreted as spiritual guidance. An especially fascinating discovery was a large, unfinished tunnel beneath the temple, leading to a series of chambers. This tunnel, carved with precise craftsmanship, suggested that the burial complex was intended for someone of extraordinary significance, possibly Cleopatra herself. Inside these chambers, the team found a hidden room containing a collection of golden artifacts and inscriptions referring to a Queen of Kings, a title often linked to Cleopatra. The initial announcement of the discovery of Cleopatra's tomb attracted immense media attention and widespread public interest. Press conferences were held, documentaries were produced, and the artifacts were meticulously catalogued and preserved. Many of these artifacts, including statues, jewelry, and coins, were exhibited in museums worldwide, drawing millions of visitors eager to learn more about Cleopatra and her era. Following the discovery, Taposiris Magna became a focal point for ongoing archaeological research. Scholars and historians collaborated to further investigate the surrounding area, uncovering additional structures and artifacts that offered more insights into the Ptolemaic period. The discovery also led to a re-evaluation of other potential burial sites across Egypt, prompting new excavations and yielding fresh historical data. The site itself transformed into a popular tourist destination, significantly boosting the local economy and fostering a deeper appreciation for Egypt's rich cultural heritage. Educational programs and public lectures spread the knowledge gained from the discovery, inspiring a new generation of archaeologists and historians. Cleopatra's tomb holds a treasure trove of unique and fascinating facts that shed light on her life and reign. One of the most remarkable aspects of Cleopatra was her linguistic prowess. She was fluent in several languages, including Egyptian, Greek, Latin, and possibly others, which allowed her to communicate effectively with various cultures and political leaders. This multilingual ability was a significant asset in her diplomatic engagements and helped her maintain strong political ties. Cleopatra's reign was characterized by a remarkable blend of Egyptian and Hellenistic cultures. She embraced Egyptian customs and religious practices, presenting herself as the reincarnation of the goddess Isis, while also maintaining strong connections to her Greek heritage. This cultural syncretism was reflected in the art, architecture, and religious ceremonies of her time, creating a unique and vibrant cultural landscape. The tomb at Taposiris Magna, believed to be Cleopatra's final resting place, is a testament to her architectural vision. The complex features intricate carvings, hidden chambers, and sophisticated tunnels, highlighting the advanced engineering and architectural skills of the period. The tomb's design and construction reflect the grandeur and sophistication that Cleopatra likely envisioned for her eternal abode. The artifacts discovered within the tomb are rich with symbolism. Golden jewelry, statues, and inscriptions reflect Cleopatra's royal status, religious beliefs, and political ambitions. These artifacts offer a glimpse into her life, her reign, and her desire to be remembered as a divine ruler. The symbols and inscriptions provide valuable insights into how Cleopatra viewed herself and how she wanted to be perceived by future generations. The discovery of hidden chambers and tunnels within the tomb complex suggests that Cleopatra may have taken great care to ensure the security and sanctity of her final resting place. These hidden features indicate a sophisticated understanding of architecture and a deep respect for the afterlife. The hidden chambers and tunnels add an element of mystery and intrigue to the tomb, highlighting the lengths to which Cleopatra went to protect her legacy. The tomb complex at Taposiris Magna is extensive, featuring a series of interconnected chambers and tunnels. The main burial chamber, believed to be the final resting place of Cleopatra, is adorned with intricate carvings and decorated with golden artifacts. The size of the tomb and its elaborate design indicate that it was intended for a person of significant importance, supporting the theory that it belongs to Cleopatra. Among the artifacts discovered were numerous statues, some depicting Cleopatra herself, others representing Egyptian gods and goddesses. The team also found a wealth of golden jewelry, including necklaces, bracelets, and rings, many of which are inscribed with hieroglyphs and symbols associated with royalty and divinity. Additionally, coins bearing Cleopatra's likeness and inscriptions were uncovered, further supporting the identification of the tomb. These artifacts not only highlight Cleopatra's royal status, but also provide a tangible connection to the historical figure, enriching our understanding of her life and reign. One of the most enduring mysteries surrounding Cleopatra is the exact circumstances of her passing. The traditional account suggests that she took herself by allowing an asp, a venomous snake, to bite her. However, some scholars propose alternative theories. Another intriguing theory is that Cleopatra's relationship with Rome was more complex than commonly portrayed. Some historians believe that her alliances with Julius Caesar and later with Mark Antony were part of a broader strategy to create a unified Greco-Roman Egyptian empire, with Alexandria as its capital. This theory suggests that Cleopatra's ambitions extended beyond Egypt, envisioning a new world order centered around her rule. The discovery of Cleopatra's tomb has also sparked speculation about a potential curse associated with disturbing her final resting place. Similar to the curse of Tutankhamun's tomb, some believe that those who enter Cleopatra's tomb may face misfortune or supernatural retribution. While there is no concrete evidence to support this theory, it adds an element of mystery and intrigue to the discovery. One of the most mysterious coincidences related to the discovery of Cleopatra's tomb is the alignment of astrological events. Researchers noted that significant breakthroughs in the excavation process often coincided with notable celestial events, such as eclipses and planetary conjunctions. Some believe that these alignments were not mere coincidences, but rather signs of divine intervention or ancient knowledge encoded in the tomb's design. Several members of the excavation team reported experiencing intuitive insights and inexplicable hunches that guided their efforts. These insights often led to significant discoveries, such as the location of hidden chambers or the interpretation of cryptic inscriptions. While these experiences cannot be scientifically explained, they add a layer of mystery to the discovery process. Cleopatra's legacy also includes her efforts to position herself as a divine ruler. She was closely associated with the goddess Isis and often depicted herself as the goddess's earthly embodiment. This association was part of her strategy to legitimize her rule and strengthen her connection with the Egyptian people. The artifacts found in her tomb, including statues and inscriptions depicting her as Isis, underscore this aspect of her reign.
Egypt, land of pharaohs and pyramids, where time itself seemed to bow before the weight of millennia. Yet by the mid-4th century BC, this once mighty civilization was a shadow of its former glory, its people yearning for a savior. From the north, a young king, barely out of his teens, swept across the known world, conquering all in his path. Alexander the Great. His eyes were set on the Persian Empire, and Egypt lay directly in his path. But what awaited Alexander in the land of the Nile was not the fierce resistance he expected. Instead, he found a people desperate for liberation, a culture ripe for transformation, and a destiny that would intertwine his name with the very soul of Egypt. Forever. This is the story of how a conqueror became a pharaoh, a god, and a legend. This is the story of Alexander in Egypt.
By the mid-4th century BC, Egypt was a land where time seemed to stand still. The ancient pyramids, like the step pyramid of Djoser at Saqqara, had watched over the desert sands for over 2 millennia. The legacies of pharaohs like Nefertiti, Akhenaten, and Tutankhamun were already 1,000 years old, their names whispers on the desert wind. Yet Egypt's glory had faded due to foreign invasions and internal strife, leaving its people yearning for revival. In 332 BC, as the sun bathed the Nile in gold, a young Macedonian king named Alexander appeared. Barely in his 20s, Alexander the Great had already carved a path of conquest across the known world. His eyes were set on the Persian Empire, which spanned from the Aegean Sea to India. In just 2 years, he had crushed Persian power in battles like Issus, defeating King Darius III, and had taken the cities of Tyre and Gaza. As Alexander approached Egypt's borders, anticipation hung in the air. The land was under Persian rule, governed by satraps who had oppressed the Egyptians. Memories lingered of Persian kings like Cambyses II and Artaxerxes III, accused of desecrating temples and killing the sacred Apis bull, an affront to Egyptian faith. The Egyptians, burdened by these offences, watched as Alexander's army neared. But instead of resistance, Alexander was welcomed with open arms. Egyptian priests and nobles saw him as a liberator who would free them from Persian domination. The Persian governor surrendered without a fight. As Alexander entered Memphis, the traditional capital along the Nile, the city erupted in celebration. Amid Memphis's grandeur, with its towering temples and bustling bazaars, Alexander showed wisdom beyond his years. He honored his Macedonian heritage by hosting Greek athletic games and musical contests, filling the air with music and cheers. Yet he also immersed himself in Egyptian culture. Most profoundly, he paid homage to the Apis bull, a sacred animal symbolizing kingship and divinity. In the sanctuaries of Memphis, Alexander approached the priests of Apis. The bull, adorned with divine symbols, embodied Ptah in life and Osiris after death. By sacrificing to Apis, Alexander did more than perform a ritual. He bridged 2 worlds. The Egyptians saw in him a ruler who respected their gods and traditions, a stark contrast to past Persian sacrilege. Word spread along the Nile. The new pharaoh honored the old ways. This gesture resonated deeply with the people. In the Serapeum at Saqqara, where massive granite sarcophagi housed mummified Apis bulls, priests might have whispered prayers of gratitude. Though it's uncertain if Alexander visited these catacombs, his reverence left an indelible mark. As the sun set over the Nile, casting shadows across the temples, Alexander stood at destiny's crossroads. Egypt had embraced him, and he embraced its spirit. He was no longer just a conqueror, he was becoming part of Egypt's eternal story. But his journey was far from over. The whispers of oracles and the allure of divine favor beckoned him further. Greater challenges and revelations awaited, a path that would intertwine his fate with Egypt in unimaginable ways. With the Nile receding behind him, Alexander gazed toward the Mediterranean. An idea took root, a city bearing his name, standing as a beacon of knowledge and culture. On shores where sea met delta, he founded Alexandria. Meticulously planned with wide avenues and grand edifices, the city embodied a fusion of Greek and Egyptian aesthetics. It was to be a hub where scholars and merchants from all corners converged. Yet a deeper calling stirred within Alexander, a yearning to understand his place in the cosmos. Tales reached him of the Oracle of Amun at the Siwa Oasis, a mystical sanctuary deep in the Libyan desert where gods spoke through priests. Undeterred by the treacherous journey, Alexander led a small contingent across unforgiving sands. The desert tested them with scorching days and cold nights, but they pressed on, guided by omens and stars. At last, Siwa's verdant palms emerged like a mirage made real. Upon arrival, priests greeted Alexander with reverence, calling him the son of Amun, a declaration that shook him. Entering the sacred temple, he stood before the god's effigy, the air thick with incense and ancient weight. What transpired remains a mystery, but when he emerged, his countenance had changed. The divine had spoken, affirming his destiny not just as a king, but as a god among men. This revelation was more than personal enlightenment. It was a powerful tool. Proclaimed the son of Amun, whom Greeks identified with Zeus, Alexander's authority now had divine backing. This elevated status resonated in Egypt, where pharaohs were seen as gods on earth. Returning, Alexander's army rested along the Nile's banks. Soldiers mingled with locals. Stories were exchanged, cultures intertwined. In spring 331 BC, with the Nile rising, Alexander prepared to depart. His gaze turned eastward toward Persia's remaining might, but Egypt had left its mark on him. Evidence of his impact endured long after. In Thebes, at Luxor Temple, artisans carved his likeness into stone. Within the holiest chambers, Alexander was depicted not as a foreign conqueror, but as a traditional Egyptian pharaoh. Clad in royal regalia, he offered tributes to gods like Amun-Ra, his features immortalized alongside ancient rulers. These images were more than art. They symbolized a new era. Alexander's embrace of Egyptian customs signified a cultural fusion that would shape the region for centuries. Egyptians saw in him a continuation of their divine lineage. Greeks found in Egypt a wellspring of wisdom. As years unfolded, Alexandria flourished beyond imagination. The great library amassed knowledge from across the world, becoming a beacon of learning. The lighthouse of pharaohs rose from the harbour, its light guiding sailors, a metaphor for the enlightenment the city offered. But fate is inexorable. At 32, Alexander's life was cut short, his vast empire left without its unifying force. In Egypt, however, his legacy endured. The Ptolemaic dynasty, founded by his general Ptolemy, continued the synthesis of Greek and Egyptian cultures. Cleopatra, the last of the Ptolemies, became a symbol of this enduring fusion. His footprints may have faded, but his influence is carved into Egypt's bedrock. The stories, monuments, and cultural tapestry bear witness to when history was forever altered. Alexander the Great became more than a name. He became a legend woven into Egypt's eternal narrative.
Imagine a world where the sun vanishes, where day bleeds into night, and an unnatural twilight engulfs the earth. The year is 536 AD. A cataclysmic event has plunged our planet into darkness. A mysterious fog descends, shrouding civilizations in a chilling gloom. From the Roman Empire to the far reaches of Asia, a year of unimaginable hardship begins. Crops wither and die. Famine stalks the land, and in the shadows a deadly plague is lurking. This is the story of 536 AD, the worst year in human history.
There was a sign from the sun. the like of which had never been seen or reported before. The sun became dark, and its darkness lasted for 18 months. Each day it shone for about 4 hours, and still this light was only a feeble shadow. Everyone declared that the sun would never recover its full light again.
In human history, few years have been as catastrophic as 536 AD. Dubbed by some scholars as the worst year ever, it witnessed a series of disastrous events that reshaped civilizations across the globe. From Europe to Asia and the Americas, the impact was profound, altering the course of history and leaving a legacy that scholars still study today. The most immediate and alarming phenomenon was the mysterious darkening of the sky. Contemporary accounts describe a world plunged into unnatural gloom. Procopius, a prominent Byzantine historian and advisor to General Belisarius, provided a chilling description. He wrote of a sun that gave forth its light without brightness, like the moon, during this whole year. The familiar warmth and radiance of the sun were replaced by a pale, ghostly light, casting the world into perpetual twilight. This darkness was not fleeting, but persisted for months. Days were dim and gloomy, while nights were pitch black, darker than any in living memory. The prolonged darkness had profound psychological effects, breeding fear, superstition, and a sense of impending doom among people across the known world. While the exact cause of this darkness was a mystery to those in the 6th century, modern scientific research points to a massive volcanic eruption as the likely culprit. Ice core samples from Greenland and Antarctica reveal evidence of a cataclysmic volcanic event in the northern hemisphere. The precise location remains debated. Some suggest Iceland, others the Ilopango volcano in El Salvador. But the eruption's scale was monumental. The volcano spewed vast quantities of ash and sulfur dioxide into the upper atmosphere, creating a veil of particles that circled the globe. This atmospheric layer reflected significant solar radiation back into space, leading to a volcanic winter. Global temperatures dropped sharply, with estimates suggesting a decline of 1.5 to 2.5 degrees Celsius on average. The cooling was especially severe in the northern hemisphere, where summer temperatures plummeted. The dramatic cooling led to widespread crop failures and a global famine. Shortened growing seasons and reduced sunlight prevented staple crops from maturing, causing harvest failures year after year. In Ireland, the famine was so severe it was called the bread failure. Reliant on agriculture, the Irish faced massive starvation. This hardship forced many to abandon their lands, initiating emigration waves that would reshape Ireland's demographic landscape. China also suffered despite its vast territory and diverse agriculture. Historical records describe frost in midsummer and snowfall in August, weather patterns alien to the Chinese calendar. In Hsinchu, an estimated 70 to 80% of the population perished from starvation. Even distant civilizations felt the impact. The Moche civilization of Peru faced an existential crisis. Altered weather disrupted their agricultural systems, and changes in ocean temperatures likely affected fish populations, a crucial food source. The combined effects pushed the Moche society toward collapse, leaving behind silent monuments and intricate pottery as testaments to their once thriving culture. As if darkness and famine were not catastrophic enough, the years following 536 AD saw the emergence of one of history's deadliest pandemics, the Plague of Justinian. Named after Emperor Justinian I, this plague is now believed to have been caused by Yersinia pestis, the same bacterium responsible for the Black Death in the 14th century. Originating in East Africa or Egypt, the plague spread rapidly along trade routes, reaching Constantinople in 541 AD. Populations already weakened by famine and poor nutrition provided fertile ground for the disease. Procopius described its harrowing symptoms, consistent with bubonic plague, sores forming on the palm, followed by swelling. The plague spread swiftly through densely populated cities. In Constantinople alone, up to 5,000 people were dying each day at the outbreak's peak. The dead were so numerous that proper burials became impossible, leading to bodies piled in streets or thrown into the sea. The plague of Justinian had far-reaching consequences beyond immediate loss of life. It decimated the Byzantine Empire's population, weakening its economy and military. This demographic catastrophe is cited as a key factor in the empire's gradual decline and eventual fall centuries later. Centuries later, scientists and historians have unraveled many mysteries of this calamitous period using ice cores from Greenland and Antarctica. These cores are time capsules, preserving records of atmospheric conditions over millennia. Analysis of layers corresponding to 536 AD shows a marked increase in sulfate aerosols and volcanic ash, providing compelling evidence of a massive eruption. The ice cores help quantify the eruption's scale and climatic impact. The high concentration of sulfate aerosols suggests it was one of the largest volcanic events in millennia. The cooling effect, due to aerosols reflecting solar radiation, is evident in variations of oxygen isotope ratios in the ice, illustrating the subsequent temperature decline. Elevated levels of volcanic aerosols persist in the ice record for several years after 536 AD, indicating long-lasting climatic effects. Studying this period offers insights into the interconnectedness of natural phenomena and human societies. A single volcanic eruption triggered cascading effects that rippled globally, affecting agriculture, trade, politics, and culture. The resilience of various civilizations amid these unprecedented challenges speaks to human adaptability. While some societies collapsed, others survived and eventually recovered, laying groundwork for the world we know today.